there's no way in hell we're going to get this company to grow to 10,000 agents, let alone to 90 or 100,000. Well, guess what? Was I ever wrong? And now there's not one person I ever talk to who thinks eXp is to get stains out of your shirt.
Hey there, future real estate legends. This is Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach and the president and CEO of the Legends International team brokered by eXp Realty. I just wanted to thank you for being here and welcome you to another episode of the Lit Real Estate Show, where we interview our equity partners at eXp Realty in the USA and from all around the globe. Now I just ask you to please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button and hitting that bell icon so you never miss another Lit show or any other future videos that I have and launch here on this channel. It also helps the show grow so we can get even more successful eXp Realty agents on to help you. Now, at the same time, if you're a subscriber, you'll get access to new shows before anyone in the world does. If you would, subscribe right now. Thanks so much. So let me properly introduce our guest speaker today, all the way from Prosper, Texas, Cliff Freeman. Since 1987, Cliff has developed an extensive background in mortgage and real estate, working directly with his team members to help them build extraordinary lives and businesses. He also is a highly sought after real estate coach and trainer, having personally coached more than, check this out, 1,000 top real estate experts, ranging from sole practitioners to mega teams generating over $250 million in annual sales. Cliff's most recent success in real estate sales includes the Cliff Freeman Group, TCFG, started in late 2019. Today, TCFG has more than 80 real estate experts serving the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and is doing more than 176 million plus in annual property sales volume as recent as 2022. And he has the number one team in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, number 2 team in Texas, number 3 mega icon team in America for homes sold. In addition to being a top producer in real estate sales, Cliff also excels at agent attraction. Since joining eXp in 2017, he's developed a reputation for attracting agents, personally sponsoring more than 110 to date. His total revenue share group of over 12,000 plus agents represents nearly 15% of the 89,000 agents at eXp Realty. He currently ranks 5th in the entire company in revenue share. And you can see prior to eXp Realty, he had his own independent brokerage there from 2009 to 2016. And prior to that, he was at Keller Williams from 2005 to 2009. But he's all about family, with his wonderful wife, Karen, and Cliff's 2 children, Cliff III and Caroline, working on the team with him. Before most of today's real estate agents were even born, Cliff earned an MBA in finance and entrepreneurship and a BS in electrical engineering, both from Rice University as well as BSBA from the University of Texas at Dallas. Formerly associate professor of real estate and finance at Collin College, Cliff has also served at high leadership levels in local, state, and national realtor and mortgage broker associations. He is also on the Board of Adjustments and Construction Board of Appeals for the town of Prosper.
I just was going to say, I don't know who wrote that, but my God, I got to have a conversation with him. That's that was a little much. I don't know who that guy was, but anyway, no, I'm actually, and I'm not number 3 in the country in transactions. I'm number 30. I was number 39 in 2022. Our team was. So just just to be accurate on that, anybody to think I'm that good, gosh, that's crazy. That's probably Kenny Fast or Kyle or Dan or somebody like that.
Well, I think, Cliff, what you have done at eXp Realty is an amazing accomplishment, and the blueprint that you've created for those who followed in your footsteps is amazing to me, Cliff. The duplication that you've got, not only in growing your revenue share group, but your production as well, with being one of the highest producing teams and organizations in the entire country. But before we dive into that, let's get into the DeLorean and let's set the clock back and go back a couple decades. You said 1987. So, that was around the time that Back to the Future came out, right? So take us back to prior to real estate. What were you doing? What made you want to get into this crazy business of real estate?
Well, I don't want to bore everybody with too much history here, but my mom, bless her heart, was a career real estate agent for Ebby Holiday, the largest independent brokerage here in Dallas back in the 60s and 70s. And that was at the time that there was an MLS book that came out once a week. Uh, Contracts were one page, typed in triplicate using carbon paper. And when the IBM Selectric typewriter came out with autocorrect, it revolutionized the real estate business. Okay, that's how things were back then. So we got an MLS book once a week. And I actually used to kind of, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. I used to tell the story that I was born into the business, that my mom was out showing houses one afternoon when her water broke with me. And whether or not that's true, we haven't fact checked that yet, but we'll just leave it out for you guys to go pursue. And I swore I would never get into the business. So I did everything all the way from high school to college to my first jobs out of college. Even though I got my real estate license in 1987, it was only just to have it in case I needed to make a referral to get paid a commission, right? My mom talked me into that. She said, look, get your license. Once you have it, there's someday you'll be so glad you did. It doesn't cost a lot to maintain it. And back then the hour requirements were just almost insignificant. So I did. And sure enough, the first time I used it, I represented myself on a commercial deal back in the early 90s. I wound up in the bar and restaurant business when I was 21. I took a little sabbatical from college and for a few years. And when I was 21, I was running the largest video dance club in the state of Texas. It was in Houston called Faces. I was really enjoying that moment in life. It was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it was. 21, yeah.
You guys remember? Yeah, you remember John Travolta and what was the disco, the movie?
Saturday Night Fever, right? Yeah.
Saturday Night. Yeah. Saturday Night Fever. And so that was just, bliss, total bliss, and really got me off track. But I learned how to make money. I learned out working 100% commission as a bartender, and I learned it's kind of like one of the best field training venues for real estate. Actually, little did I know what I was doing, but I still fought the temptation. Went back to school, went to grad school, went and worked on Wall Street for a few years, and got some really fun, great experience. A little bit in New York, the rest of it in Houston. Opened up my own bar and restaurant, and just, I don't know, seems like every guy's dream at some point is to own a bar or a restaurant. So I had to fulfill that. And then, the rough tides hit. I wound up having a nasty divorce. I had 2 kids. My parents were getting old. I had to move back up to Dallas. I became my mom's caregiver after my dad passed away. I started in, doing loans again back in 2000, worked for CTX Mortgage, and then Dodd-Frank 2008, that whole disaster hit. And I was very successful as a mortgage broker at that time, but I don't know about if you guys have any experience with lending, especially in 2008, 9, and 10, but it was so hard to get a loan done. I don't care if it was perfect and they were putting 50% down. There were so many overlays and everybody was so scared of buybacks that it was almost impossible. Right. So I just said, the heck with that. Let me go to the Wild West. At least real estate is less regulated than mortgage. And that's when I went back and got with Keller Williams again and sort of reinvented myself. Okay. And came back. And then my mom got sick, right? So I had to, again, kind of reinvent myself. That's where I got into coaching, because I could do that during the day and take care of her in the afternoons and on the weekends, not have to show houses. And then I just, the necessity, what's the mother of invention? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I had to iterate. Learned Real Geeks really well, and I learned Google pay-per-click when all of that was just getting started, because I worked for Kinder Reese. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Kinder Reese or NAEA. It's Jay Kinder, Mike Reese, and and was with those guys for 8 years, and they had to deal with Commission Inc. And so they had their website and I couldn't use that. So I had to get creative, and I just said, I'm going to learn this from the ground up. Well, I got pretty good at it, and agents used to hire me. So my coaching agents and outside agents would hire me to set up Real Geeks IDX websites all the way from Victoria, British Columbia down to Miami. I was in San Francisco, Boise, Chicago. I was in about 15 markets. And, and I would participate in this. I would help generate and convert the leads, and then I would make money on that. I consider that, for me, that was my, what I called a virtual brokerage at the time, right?
Okay.
So I had all, sites set up everywhere and was doing that, but it was really just, kind of like the Popeil pocket lead generator. You set it and forget it, right?
I love that.
Those websites.
Right.
It's not a lot of work, right, to run them. So it was a great income source for me while I was my mom's caregiver, and I had 2 kids, divorced. It was just really bad. My kids were sleeping on concrete floors, and it was one of those times in life where sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you remember who the rock at the bottom is, right? You just have to go to one of those places that you never want to go back to again. And I'm sure many of you have been there. I have a podcast called Cliff Notes, and I love to interview successful people. Most of them are real estate people. But one thing that I've found with just about everybody is that we all tend to have this kind of common thread of there's something that caused us to shift our mindset in life, whether it was being a single mom, raising kids, having to work, 3 jobs and go to school, or maybe you were one of those kids that was 15 and couldn't play football because you had to work to put food on the table, through high school for your siblings and for your mom. Something where somebody has done something really extraordinary. And even if it might have been just being number 1 in something, these days, I hate to say this, but there's so many kids these days that really don't know what it's like to win. They all get a participation trophy, but they don't know what it's like to finish the race with nobody in front of them. That is really special. So people who have had that experience know the dedication, the commitment that it takes in order to do that. And that's what I love about real estate is there's few barriers to entry. Here we are selling some of the largest assets that people own their entire lives. Right. And we don't make anything. It's not like we have a kitchen where we have to cook, or a manufacturing. It's our asset is already made. All we're doing is walking in with, a few marketing dollars and just a lot of hard work, and we get that house sold and we make a lot of money. So it's a really great business for entrepreneurs, for people who just don't know how to say no. They're unbounded. That for me, and that's why it doesn't, for the same reason that it's right for some people, it's wrong for a lot of other people. Right. The statistics tell it, Jason, and that is about 4 out of 5 people who get their license every year fail to renew it the first year. It's actually worse than that. It's like 88%, I believe, who fail to renew after their first. So people get in this business, they think, oh my God, the money tree has just got planted in my front yard. My neighbor got that Lincoln Navigator, and she was selling shoes at Nordstrom, and then she got into real estate, and boom, look what happened. It's about to happen to me. Oh God, I can feel it coming, right? And then they get there and nothing happens. Well, that's the way it is, unfortunately. But for those of us who have that nothing's going to stop me attitude, we can do it. And it's the same thing with revenue share. Revenue share, I know we're going to talk about revenue share, Jason, but revenue share is really no different than selling houses, except we're not going on a listing appointment, going on an attraction appointment. Okay. And that's really, I would never forget Rob Flick saying, look, I know you sell real estate. It's a real easy transition to start attracting agents. So every week, if your goal used to be, get 2 listings, get 2 buyers, get 2 listings, get 2 buyers. All you have to do now is get 2 listings, 2 buyers, 2 agents. 2 listings, 2 buyers, and 2 agents. And then he would say, you know those 2 listings and 2 buyers? How many times, what's the maximum number of times you're gonna make money or get paid off of those transactions?
One time.
Well, once for sure. If you're lucky, they may use you again 5 years
Right.
down the road or refer you. But if you attract an agent, how many times do you get paid?
Over and over and over and over, right?
And how much effort do you have to put into getting paid by an agent?
You got to get them into eXp, right? Just a little. Got to do that work up front, right? Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not always the sharpest guy in the sharpest tool in the toolbox. And I was like, Rob, that that really makes a lot of sense. And, when I started out, and again, I don't want to, you're the one that's got the agenda. I don't know where you want to start,
it's actually,
Jason, but
no, it's
great
because we could segue into, you were running you had left Keller Williams, you started your independent brokerage, right? And then you made this crazy idea to come join this company that had less than 2,500 agents at the time, right? So, and then, so did you end up sponsoring Michael and Jay? Is that how that ended up panning out as well?
Well, so, here's what you got to understand. You're not going to get everybody.
Right.
So sometimes you have to be strategic how you go out getting people. And what I mean by that was, look, I worked together with Mike and Jay for 8 years. I was their coach. I knew somebody that had a better relationship with them than I did. And I knew that if I could get that person, then they would follow. So I was fine if they weren't in my front line. I just wanted them in my group. I really just wanted them at eXp, honestly. But I was like, I hope I get them. I mean, I'm going to try. And so Al Stasek, Al was a client of mine at Kinder Reese up in Cleveland. He was with Remax. He used to drive a truck before he got his real estate license. And he was just an individual producer. We took his production from, I don't know, probably 10 million to, he built a team and was probably doing 70, 80 million by the time, I left and quit coaching him and stuff. But, Al had gotten involved with Mike and Jay in the growth of the company and was really interested in helping build Kinder Reese. And so he had a great relationship with them. And Mike and Jay were at the point where they were at a crossroads in their business. And they were essentially at the point where they were going to split it up, and they'd gotten out of coaching and they were just going to go their separate ways. But you got to remember, they built a herd. When I say a herd, a membership of like 60,000 agents over 10 years. That was how many agents were on the mailing list, right? So, think about, where's the first place I want to go to attract agents, right? I want to go to those people who already have a relationship with me, where I've been able to already add value in their life. That was a given, okay? So all we had to do, and this is the problem, guys, there's a lot of closed-minded people out there. What's the most expensive thing that anybody can own? Who knows?
Real estate.
Negative. Sorry, Jason.
It's
had to
okay.
shoot you down. It's a closed mind.
Yes, that was my number 2. Okay.
You can ever own. Okay. And Mike and Jay had closed minds. They'd never looked under the hood. Al asked him, well, what do you know about the model? Well, nothing. But we just don't like the idea. It's virtual this, virtual that. It's, Keller Williams, profit share thing. No, it's not. It's revenue share. Have you had a chance to really look them up? No. Okay. If I could show you how this could potentially change your life and get you guys breath so you can breathe again and monetize all of those relationships that you built over the years, would you be willing to invest 30 minutes in watching a video with me? So it all starts with getting somebody to be open-minded. And I don't use a lot of 4-letter words, but I'm going to give you guys a really good 4-letter word to use for people who aren't open-minded and don't want to spend 30 minutes with you and hop on an edification call or watch the video. Are you ready?
Give it to me, Cliff.
This goes like this. Pedro just turned his camera off. He doesn't want, oh, there he is. Okay. N-E-X-T, next. Okay. Don't EXP on people. Don't put people in an EXP headlock. We're looking for people who are looking for us, the ones who are swimming toward the boat. Okay? All right, here's another good one. A man's mind changed against his will is of the same opinion still. Did you guys get that? A man's mind changed against his will is of the same opinion still. You're not going to convince somebody you're right and they're wrong. People always believe what they tell themselves, but they don't always believe what you tell them. So it's a matter of influence, friends. You've got to help them come to the right conclusion. And you don't do that by vomiting EXP on them. You don't do that by running rev share up the flagpole if they don't understand it and don't care about it. Okay. Meet them at their point of need. Find out where their pain points are and have a discussion. Okay. Be a friend to these folks. Mm-hmm. You know, collaborate with them. I guarantee you what's missing where they are now is a friend and collaboration. They don't have one at their current broker. Somebody that they can really sit down with. Hey, who do you role play with? Well, nobody at my, brokerage. We don't. Yeah. Well, would you like to maybe role play with me? I've been pretty successful with expireds. It's real easy to pick up. Why don't you and I start working out for 15 minutes a day in the morning, and then you can go hop on the phone. I mean, you could change somebody's life, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And don't you think that they're going to be, now if I asked you, hey, by the way, have you been to a realtor's retirement party? No.
I'd love this one.
Well, look, if I could show you a way that you could gracefully exit this business, and in the process of doing that, create generational wealth so that your greedy, undeserving, unwashed heirs and children could be changed for generations, is that something you want to hear about? Yeah. What are you, crazy? I mean, there's no retirement plan in real estate. You're right, until now.
Yep. So let's dive into the future of eXp, Cliff, as we finish out this segment here, right? You've seen it all, right? I mean, you've been here in the very early days, right? And you've gone through the big growth wave in the US, and now it's starting to really grow fast in Canada and around the world. What do you think the future looks like with eXp, Cliff? Is it already over?
Yeah,
Is it too late?
I personally am very. Is it okay if I drop Kent Chen's presentation? I have it here. This is the finances. Can I drop this in the chat box for everybody?
Oh, I'm going to show that here in just a minute. But
you have a copy of it? Okay, great.
Yes,
I'll wait for your.
Yeah.
So, I think that what we've built here at eXp in record time, by the way, is formidable. There's a lot of dogs nipping in our ankles right now, but imitation is the highest form of flattery. There's no question about it. And these literally are copycats. These are not original ideas. These are people that have tried to take the eXp model and change what they think is right about it or wrong about it or whatever, and they've never been through the process. I remember when we were real size, we were at 18,000 agents, and it was a day of reckoning at eXp. We did not know if our company was going to be able to go forward or not. The reason why is because at that time, we didn't have what we now know as the sustainable revenue share program. In fact, revenue share started to overtake the company's half or portion, and it got very unbalanced at 18,000 agents. And the board of directors had to make a decision to create a sustainable revenue plan and also you guys recall, we used to get stock for 20% discount, 5% of our commissions back in those days. It's now down to 5%. It's still a good deal, okay? I mean, it's like just free money. You might as well take advantage of it.
Exactly.
So the stock goes up and down. Don't worry about the stock. Stocks are like walking up an escalator with a yo-yo, or walking upstairs with a yo-yo, okay? It goes up and down and up and down, but eventually, if it's a good company, it's going to go up, right? But people focus on the yo-yo being at the bottom and they go, oh my God, the stock's down. Buy it, okay? Dollar cost average. That's what taking commission income is. It's dollar cost averaging, okay?
Exactly.
I mean, we are peers. If you think that if you're in the real estate business, wouldn't you want to buy the best company in the real estate business? We're it. We have the best numbers. We have the best balance sheet. We've got the best leadership. Remax just fired their guy. I mean, you know, if you look at Anywhere and Compass and all these other ones, I'll take them head on any day of the week. We smoke them, okay? We absolutely have a higher, better value proposition for agents. We'll go into why sometimes people, they get a little foggy about that. We'll talk about things here in just a minute. Jason, I'm sure you guys, all kinds of things from the field. You've probably had people leave to go to LPT or Real or somewhere else. It's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. Don't get your knickers in a twist, okay? Don't worry about it. Those people, if you look at the stats on the people who are leaving, yeah, occasionally we get a couple of people who are bigger guys. You know, I don't want to go into one because the poor guy is now in a big lawsuit, sexual harassment lawsuit over at whatever brokerage he went to. But, you know, it's going to happen. People are going to move. People will chase the shiny objects. There's no loyalty in this business. If they were not successful over here at acquiring stock and building a revenue share group, they're not going to be successful over there. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just not, it's not going to happen. In fact, you know, you look at LPT and they have a share option, right? And I don't know if you guys are getting, you know, what market are you all in? You're all on the East Coast, right?
No, Cliff, we're in 13 countries. We focus international.
Okay, where do most of the people on the call live right now?
They're all over, Cliff. They're all over. So we have some Minnesota, we have some California. But majority of the people on the call are from different countries.
Portugal.
Okay, so maybe you haven't heard of, like, Robert Palmer is out of Florida. So Florida, we hear a lot about Robert Palmer and LPT. You know, it's just one of those things. By the way, Eduardo, I'm going to be in Cabo. Are you going to be joining us in Cabo? Or you got, what Mexico are you at?
I'm in Guadalajara, but I won't be joining in Cabo, Cliff.
You know?
No. The thing is, Jason invited me to the eXp Con, so that's the reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
like
just
what you
wondered
say,
if I'm going to
Cliff.
see.
I like what you say, Cliff. Yeah. Sure.
So let's do
I
this.
was wondering, I'm going to be in Friday, so I want to know if I could see any of you guys there. But I digress. But anyway, go ahead,
No, it's
Jason.
okay. No, I was just, let's wrap up this segment so we can get into these other things and talk about them, because it's going to segue into a lot of different things. So Cliff, I want to thank you for taking your time to tell us your story of how you got into real estate, you know, how you joined eXp Realty at about 2,500 agents, and then how you leveraged the right relationships in the right way to grow an organization that you see the future is so bright and we're financially strong. So thank you, Cliff, for taking your time to share that story with us today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm pumped. I am really, the future is great. Can I tell one real quick story, Jason?
Of course you can, Cliff.
The very first, in 2016, when I first joined, I called a friend of mine just to try the script for Attraction. And I said, by the way, have you ever heard of eXp before? And do you know how sometimes when the other person you just have that dead silence and you start counting 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the worst mistake I have ever. I've never even heard of this brokerage. And he gets back on the phone. He goes, "Oh, yeah, Cliff. Hey, I was just checking with my wife to see if she'd heard of it. She said she was in Walmart this weekend, back by the milk section. You take a left. Here's the laundry detergent, and she said she saw a bottle of spray eXp up next to the Shout. Is that what you're talking about?" And then I was convinced I had made the worst decision of my life. There's no way in hell we're going to get this company to grow to 10,000 agents, let alone to 90 or 100,000. Well, guess what? Was I ever wrong? And now there's not one person I ever talk to who thinks eXp is to get stains out of your shirt. Okay? So I share that because the way that I started recruiting, we didn't have a blueprint. It was not a beaten path. We didn't have leaders like Gene and Dave and Brent and, those who went before me and showed me how to get through the jungle. That was the saving grace. And for you guys now, you just have to trust the process. That's what I would suggest to you is you don't need to second guess what's in front of you. Trust the process. It's out there. I've always been a big student of Brent Goes. By the way, I'll just throw this out there. And if you haven't been to his website and looked at his agent attraction training, I highly recommend it because that's what I learned and built an organization of 12,000 agents from. Brent is my sponsor and my mentor, and all I did was listen to him. He was an Amway Diamond. The guy knows what he's doing, and again, you just have to trust the process. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Hey, I hope you found value in today's legendary interview with our special guest. If you'd like to see more interviews just like this one, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you'd like to learn more about today's guest, I placed all their contact information in the description below. Who knows, maybe they are the mentor you've been looking for. And if you're looking to make a change who you are partnered with in real estate, feel free to book a no-pressure private Zoom call with me. During this private call, I'll share with you how we help real estate agents leverage their language skills and cultural connections to close more transactions both locally and internationally using cutting-edge lead generation technology and marketing techniques. If you want to find yourself in a different situation in 90 days or in a year from now, it's important to find the right partners that can mentor you, have the right strategies, and are willing to give you the roadmap without asking for an additional cut of your commission. With the unique eXp Realty model, it's a collaboration, not competition mentality. The numbers don't lie either. So if you're curious, reach out and set up an appointment. I look forward to meeting you. Feel free to check out the other videos I have here on the channel about eXp Realty too, in case you're just curious. Otherwise, drop your questions or suggestions for upcoming guests in the comments below. Once again, I'm Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach with the Legends International team, brokered by eXp Realty. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.